Track wrestling here at Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, Iowa, with two-time Iowa State champion, NCAA champion, Kyven Gadson. Kyven, we're talking a little bit off camera about some of your memories from this tournament. When you think back to your days competing out in this arena, what do you think about most?
I think there's a collection of memories that I have out here. Today I was just talking with Derek St. John, and we were kind of talking about, 10 years ago in 2008, I wrestled him in the state finals, and that didn't really go my way. And after the match, I told my dad basically, I would do whatever you tell me to do, Dad, as long as that never happens to me again. I got embarrassed, I got beat, and I was like, I don't want to feel that way again. So I told my dad I'd do whatever he told me to do as long as that basically never happened to me again, and really hasn't. And so I guess I started listening. That was the biggest thing for me, is I was kind of hard-headed, stuck in my ways, a 15-year-old that thought he knew what he was doing. And that match showed me a lot about myself and just allowed me to be a young man and accept help from the people that were in my corner.
Well, let's rewind to that, because if memory serves me correct, the high crotch was your go-to in high school, and that was your bread and butter, and St. John was really good at cutting the corner.
Really good at cutting the corner.
Your dad told you, don't go there, right?
Yes, before the match, he came to me with a game plan at the hotel. It was a Sheraton out in West Des Moines, and he said, "Hey, we're not going to shoot the high crotch this match. We're going to shoot the sweep single." And I kind of looked at him and I'm like, "What you mean? Like, a high crotch is my best shot? Like, we're going to shoot the high crotch?" He's like, "No, we're not going to shoot the high crotch. Shoot the sweep single, right? Because you can sweep and you get up to your feet. You don't have to worry about entering the corner." And I totally didn't listen. And so about, I think, 3 takedowns into the match, I realized, oh, this high crotch thing isn't gonna work. And by that point, I think Derek Mojo was going pretty good. He had won state the year before, and he went on to win his second title. But he did get hit for stalling.
Yeah, because you were taking the shots.
I was taking
shot
the
after
shots,
shot after shot.
but I was not finishing them. So I'm pretty sure it was lopsided. Maybe 22-8, something crazy like that. But yeah, it was a humbling moment for me, and it was a really good moment for me. And from a standpoint of humbling myself and just being a mature young man that can take advice, and be coachable. I think that's the biggest thing that has allowed me to get to kind of the level that I'm at right now, is being coachable and being able to listen.
That was your last high school loss, wasn't it?
That was. Unless you count the semifinals where it was kind of controversial my senior year in 2010. That person thinks they won, but I have the brackets at home. I won't mention any names.
Who were some of the guys you really looked up to when you were little, coming to this tournament for the first time?
Wow. Who were some of the guys I looked up to? I was in Iowa City, when we used to come, my dad used to send me to the tournament all the time. We were always up here, and it was with Iowa City High, and that was when Coach Brad Smith was the head coach. My dad was an assistant coach. Paul Bradley, that's now a coach at UNI, was assistant coach also.
Jeff Bradley.
Oh, my bad.
Yep.
Jeff Bradley. Paul Bradley's the Iowa wrestler.
Yep.
And I remember looking up to Boss, which was Johnny Galloway Jr., Anthony Watson, Justin Jordan, Jacob Smith. Who else was on that team? Kyle Hansen, Cody Smith. All those guys I had a great deal of respect for, because I was coming up here and I was watching them. And I remember being in, I think it was Vets back then. It was Vets Memorial. And I remember Anthony Watson getting the pin in the finals after he was losing.
Yeah. To Topher Ewing.
Yeah, to you losing the lat drop.
Yeah.
Beautiful, gorgeous. I remember Johnny Galloway winning his 3rd state title. 4-time placer, three state titles. And I remember watching some of those. I remember watching them lose too. And as a kid, these are the dudes you looked up to. Like, they used to turn their socks over and have them like a little bit right underneath the heel, and I started doing that. Like, these were like the dudes I looked up to, because I saw them every day in the City High Mat Pack Club, and I wanted to be like just like them. And so it was like really cool, you know. It was really cool being able to watch them and then having to turn to do the same thing. And then now looking back at it, like today, the Future Trojans Kid Club, shout out to the Future Trojans, that's my kids club. Like, they came down and they watched the state tournament today, some of them, and then I took them up to Iowa State with Coach Ryan Salas and Jared Herman and some of those guys, and showed them around the Iowa State campus and the wrestling room, and they got to roll around in the wrestling room. And it just like, it brought me a lot of joy, because I know what those times meant for me as a kid, where those guys that I looked up to would like take me under their wing and wrestle around with me, and then I get to do the same thing now, and it's just like a appreciation wheel, I guess.
I think it's really interesting how strong your connection is to the Future Trojans Wrestling Club. I mean, it's 2 hours away. Why so? Why does it mean so much to you that you maintain that connection there?
I think the biggest thing is just showing, because I feel like I grew up in Waterloo, even though I was born in Iowa City. I feel like I grew up in Waterloo, in the sense that in Iowa City, if I would have went to Iowa City West, I would have just been another good wrestler at Iowa City West. Whereas when we went to Waterloo and my dad started building the program there, starting with the Future Trojans Club, it was more so that, hey, you can show people, you can show the kids here that they can do this too, like, it doesn't have to be any different. Like, I was in the same wrestling room as they're in now, I'm working on some things. I want to get them I want to get the high school a new wrestling mat, and so I'm working on some things. I just think giving back is important. I think that's something that my parents instilled in me, not just my father, but my mother also. So I think that just connection is important, and I think it's bigger for me than it can be for them, at times. Like today, it was just really refreshing getting to watch the kids wrestle around in the room and thinking back to when I was their age and doing the same thing,
You leave, what'd you say, a couple days?
Sunday.
Sunday for
Sunday
Ukraine.
After the Iowa State duel.
Okay. To go to Ukraine, compete over there. Well, you're,
Yes,
I think, a couple years in to freestyle, right? What have been the greatest lessons you've learned from your time in to this point?
I think the greatest lessons I've learned are some of the ones that I learned right here in Wells Fargo and stuff like that, in the sense of just being humble and continuing to stay coachable and to work on your craft daily. Like, even after Olympic trials, it was like get back to work, because the next 4 years are going to come quick, and now we're 2 years away from Tokyo. Obviously there's stuff in between there. The World Cup is in Iowa City, the 7th, 8th, which I just found out I made the team as the alternate for 97 kilograms. But just the humility. The humility on the senior level has been huge, because I was coming in off an NCAA championship where you're like the best in your craft, you're a national champ, and then all of a sudden you go over 10,000 miles to Belarus and you don't win a match, and you're just like, what just happened? And then you go to Poland and you go 0-2. You're just like, when's the last time I went 0-2 in a tournament? You start really having to look at yourself and really take some deep looks at what you're doing training wise, where you're at mentally, what your focus is, and really dissect and look at the details so that you can improve upon yourself.
How does it help you having Kyle Snyder at your weight class in the United States?
I think it helps just because he's a great wrestler. He's a competitor, and I see myself as a competitor, and I see myself as a great wrestler also. And the cliche is, to be the best, you got to beat the best. And I think when you have a competitor like Kyle at your weight class, it should bring the best out of you. And that's what I'm just looking to do. I'm trying to bring the best out of myself, and I don't think it hurts having a great competitor like Kyle at the weight class. And I think there's some more guys that are looking at it the same way, and I'm I'm excited for the U.S. Open, April 26th through the 28th, and then you got the World Team Trials March 19th to 20th in Rochester, Minnesota, and then the Final X. I believe it'll be in Lincoln, Nebraska on June 9th. So I'm excited. It's going to be a busy next 4 months, and then I fully plan on it being a busy couple months after that with the World Championships being in October in Hungary, Budapest.
Now, when you were winding down your college career, you're talking about being an athletic director.
Right.
Where are you at with that right now? In one day, I mean, what kind of things are you doing in that realm to get yourself ready, or are you looking at something else now?
What am I doing to get myself ready? Well, I finished my master's in May of 17, and I walked in December, so my mom got to come down to Hilton. That was one of my better moments in Hilton. So that was really cool. My wife got to be there, my daughter was there, and so I finished that, which is super huge for me, just having a master's degree, something that I came in with Coach Jackson planning to do. So got that done. Now focus turns to kind of wrestling for the next couple years for sure, and I just want to wrestle until I don't feel like I can do it at a high level anymore, or that I don't have the same desire or love to compete, and just kind of let it happen that way. Hopefully somebody will give me the opportunity to have a job after this. But I'm just excited for I'm trying to not look too far ahead, but still take care of the day-to-day details that I need to give me an opportunity, because there is life after wrestling. I know that, and that's why I felt like getting a master's degree and finishing up school was really important. So
great stuff, Kyven. Anything else for us?
Anything else for you guys? Be on the lookout for some big things that I'm trying to work on and develop. But other than that,
you're gonna give us any clues there?
No, I'm not gonna give you any clues. We'll have another talk, Andy. You know that.
Right.
But yeah, I'll be at the World Cup April 7th and 8th. You can follow me at Gadson Strong on social media. I'm not on there all the time, but when I am on there, I'm pretty funny and a good time. But thanks, Andy, for the opportunity to talk, and I appreciate it.